Welcome back to Money Talks. I am very thrilled and excited today to come back to you as we have promised you to continue sharing with you the knowledge and education of how to have a grip and great control over your finances, building your financial house. And as we have spoke to you in the episode before about how to put yourself first and how to make sure that you get paid first. Now we're going to continue to show you how to allocate your money and how to properly building your own wealth step by step. That's why our topic today is going to be the three fundamental accounts. That is going to be the setup for everybody who wants to build a generational wealth for themselves and families. So stay tuned for that. We'll be back to you soon. Welcome back. Zoo's coming back to you, talking today about the three fundamental accounts. So the question going to be, what are these accounts? What are they good for? How we can establish them? We're going to answer all these questions and a little bit more. So when we talk to anybody about doing their own budget and reducing probably their own lifestyle for a certain amount that they can use to build their own wealth for the future, then they're going to have the money in their hand, but they need to know how to properly allocate that money in order to serve different needs as life goes by. Because we understand there is not only one use for money, right? So now we want to make sure that we're going to always have good amount of money to serve the need that it is for. And that's not going to happen overnight, but it can definitely happen over time. And that is our focus. So we're going to start with the first account that anybody should have in order to protect themselves against emergencies. And that's why we're going to call it emergency fund or emergency account. And just from its name, is to cover emergencies. What are emergencies? Can they happen? When are they going to happen? We unfortunately don't know, but we better be ready financially to cover these emergencies as they come our way. Now, when emergency happens and it can be solved with money, it's not a real problem, it is inconvenience. But when it happens and there is no money to cover it, that is a real problem. Because usually people, what they do, what do they rely on to cover their own emergencies? Something happens or comes our way. Because people, what do they usually do to cover their own emergencies should something happen? They use their own credit card. They borrow money. The problem is in here. They think this is going to take care of the emergency at the moment, but they have to deal with the consequences of paying off this money for so long. Now, this emergency have cost them much more than it should. And that is not only a cost on their pocket right now, that's going to delay their own financial stability for the future because they still have that bill. So the less bills people going to pile up, the more stable their financial situation is, the more money they can save for their own future. That is definitely a necessity for anybody who wants to have a very stable, good financial future. So with that, our focus is going to be helping people to prepare for their emergencies so they don't have to borrow money, they don't have to be under other companies' control, paying their own money, hard money away for them, month in, month out. That is going to be one important step in our own financial setup. Second, the short-term account. What is that short-term for? We all have plans. We all have things we want to do in our life. People who don't have a house right now, they want to buy a house. People who want to go on a vacation and create some memories with their loved ones. People want to work on paying some big amount of debt, paying off their own car. Any financial need that it takes some planning for it. It is not an emergency, it is actually planned for. Now, when we have time in our hand and we have some money and resources, we better be smart with it and put that money in a way that is going to work and generate more money, so we're going to be able to reach our short-term goal faster. So this money is going to grow and it's going to give us some return as we are putting away little by little, and this way we're going to have a better grip on our planned expenses. How is that going to happen? We'll explain to you in a minute. The third account is going to be the wealth account or the long-term account. This account, that is what we're going to rely on for our own retirement or our future spendings, as we're going to get to a level in our life that maybe we're not producing more or making more income, but we have built that nest of money for us to rely on as these days come. As we have explained earlier, not everybody probably planning to work until they're on late 60s or 70s or maybe 80s. Hopefully not. And that's why we said we have to prepare for that day from now. Again, this account is going to grow and going to give us some return in it, that our money is going to work through the years as we are investing and as we are growing our own cash flow. How is that going to happen as well? We'll be back to you for it. Now we're going to see how we are going to work with these accounts simultaneously, all at the same time. I need to go back for the example we had in the episode before of the $100. When you're going to save $100 a month from your own income for your family. Let's see how we can allocate that money in here and how is that going to grow for us. So we have the $100 total in here. If we were to take $25, put in our emergency fund, month in, month out, plus $25 we put into our short-term account, month in, month out. We're going to be left with $50 that's going to go to our long-term. The total of that is going to be $100. It's an easy math. Now, what is the significance of that? Number one thing, we are going to fund all the accounts together and have money ready for us when we need them to serve the purpose for that money. Important than that, we're going to create the discipline. We're going to create the habit of putting money away every single month and put them into different avenues for different purposes. So now, as you have a plan in your mind for something that you want to do and you are already excited about, you're going to see the money is growing for it. You're going to see it is actually going to happen. When anything could happen and you know you have money for it, you feel safe. And that is a very important feeling. And most importantly, you know you are building for your own future. You know you're going to have money in your own hand as you're going to need it as you grow in age and you plan to retire. You're probably now asking yourself, or you want to ask me and say, well, Zeus, how is this money going to grow? What do you mean I'm going to get a return on my money? How is that going to affect the growth of my money in the period of time that I am building up? Well, all that is going to be what we will share with you and teach you step by step, time after time, as you are continuing following us on our money talks. We are very excited to come back to you with more knowledge to share. So enjoy your day, have a wonderful time until we get back to you with more money talk.